Welcome to our channel. I'm Kevin Goodman.
I'm Stacey Goodman.
Here with Stacey Goodman, my wife, and my partner in crime, or my partner in business. So partner in business is more like it. But anyway, we've been in the real estate business for a few minutes. Stacey started in 2004. I started in 2006. We're with eXp Realty and the Goodman team with eXp Realty. We say anything that you find any value to, be sure and like and subscribe to our channel.
Yep. Push those buttons, subscribe. It helps us pop up whenever we do these videos. You'll get the notifications.
That's right. That's right. Not only that, you might miss some entertaining food bars or something.
Yeah, and you help our channel grow. Thanks for that.
So I feel like I'm sitting way back.
Why don't you adjust your mic a little bit?
Oh,
it's turned. We have
you
trouble
like
with
that better?
I do.
So today, see if I can get this to, no, stop. So today we would like to talk about what the market's doing. What are experts expecting the market to do in 2024?
Right. The question on everybody's mind, we've heard it time and time again, should I wait to buy a home?
That's right. So thinking about that, it's a everybody's so different, and everybody's economic situation is so different.
Right.
That the home buying decision is very personal. But what I will say is that when you look at trends, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about, what's going on, and how's the market trending. So if we look at last 3 years, we can see some sharp increases in 21, between 20 and 21. It peaked in 21. Then 22 was a little lower than 21, but the market was still hot and heavy. Prices didn't come down any from 21 to 22. Prices didn't come down any really from 22 to 23.
Right.
So we're looking at trends and what's going on in the market. Now the market's got a little softer and it's easier to buy a house. So if you're thinking about buying, I would say now is probably a really good time to do so. Don't you think so?
I do. I agree.
So let's talk about that. What makes now a better time to buy than, say, a year and a half ago?
Wow. Well, because I think the competition is less right now for those buyers. Where a couple of years ago it was fast and frenzy, multiple offers. There's still pockets that are doing that, but for the most part, I think that the competition is going to be a little less in this market. Days on the market for sellers is a little bit longer. They may want to be interested in working with the buyer a little more.
Right. Even in today's environment, you might even get some closing costs paid for, or
That's
some
right.
seller concessions, or that much needed repair done.
Right.
So there's definitely more leverage for the buyer to see some negotiations with the seller. So from a seller standpoint, there's still plenty of buyers, still a shortage. Matter of fact, I'm reading a NAR report that says that there's really all the way through 24, we're not going to see a balanced market. We're still a high demand market. So anytime you've got a high demand market, you're going to pay more. The prices are going to be higher. Now, so if we compare now to 6 months ago or even 3 months ago, what makes this a better buying time than 3 months or 6 months ago? What would you say makes it a better buying time?
I think that interest rates are adjusting down just a little bit, so it's good for the buyer. What do you think?
That's where I was going. I'm glad you said that. So I was looking
we're on the same page then.
We're on the same page. I was looking for that. So in weekend in January 25th of 24, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac reported that the average interest rate was 6.69%. So if you think about it from 6 months ago, we were pushing 8%.
Right.
8% 6 months ago. So we've seen some decreases in interest rates, and economists and the feds are all saying the same thing. It looks like the rates are going to go down some more.
Just a little bit more.
And they're expecting within the next few months to see some rates in the fives, which we've actually talked to some folks that closed in the fives within the last few weeks.
That's awesome.
there's always the possibility to get a buy down. So you can buy down your rate a little bit, refi when it actually comes down and stays down. I've said all along, people that we're all freaked out about nearly 8% interest rate. I don't mind 8% interest rate. I mean, we actually employed people. We're self-employed. Realtors are all mostly self-employed. We wind up paying a little higher rate.
We do.
And last loan we got was an 8% rate, and I didn't mind it. Other people were paying 4s. We were paying 8s because we're in a little higher group because of our income is a little less stable. Anyway, that's a positive that we're seeing some interest rates below 7%, with predictions to see normal rates in the 5s. So here's what I'm saying about today versus waiting until you get 5% rates. When the rates go to 5%, if you've bought today, you can refinance. If you wait until rates go to 5%,
we're going to get into that fast and frenzy again.
That's right. Everybody's
going to, all the buyers that have waited, they're all going to looking at the same houses you're looking at.
That's right. So they're going to look at the same houses. Competition's going to go up. You don't already own a house and you're trying to buy a house. Somebody that already owns a house. I mean, I'm reading an NAR report that says that most homeowners today have a positive equity. Mm-hmm. So you contribute that to going to happen when rates go down. They'll get more comfortable with selling. The price will go up. They'll pull that equity out of their house, and now you're competing with somebody that's got a substantial amount of cash to throw at a loan or at a home purchase. So it puts you in a disadvantage. So if you're thinking of buying, today's the day to start looking. Matter of fact, many economists are saying that 45 days from now, we're going to see those rates back in the 5s, and the market's going to be hard to in. So I can't predict the future, and I'm not sitting here saying, hey, this is definitively what's going to happen. I follow trends. I look at what, gosh, we're Christians. And I say this, I was sitting in church thinking about it. Look at history to see, we use it as a guide. We're looking back at history to kind of get toward the future. We're looking at history and God's word to kind of send into really what he wants us to do. And hopefully we're paying attention and following his desires in our life. But the real estate market's really singular in that if you look at history and all the indicators, everything that's been recorded with what's happening in the industry, we're not heading for a crash. Everybody's expecting this crash that we had in 2008, but inventory's still too low for a crash. Demand's still too high with inventory low. As long as that balance is there or that shortage is there, we're not going to see a crash. And I'm just speaking from historic terms. I'm not saying, hey, I got my crystal ball and man, yep, nope, not going to crash. Not saying that. I'm saying that if we look at history, we're not headed to a crash. What do you think, Stace? What's
I think you're right, and I think that our best advice for potential buyers is if you find something you love that ticks your boxes, that's in your budget, and it meets your family's needs, then buy it.
That's right. Yep. So, and stop waiting.
Stop waiting. Don't wait, because we can't predict the future. We can look at trends and see kind of where we think it's going, but when you find something that you like or you love, buy it.
Well, I mean, if you're renting, you're losing 100% of what your rent is. Where if you're buying, you're paying 7% interest. There's a balance in that you pay 7% interest. Appreciations depend on where you're at. Call it a modest 4%. You're only actually losing 3% of your money. And at some point, if you stay there long enough, that turns around where you've paid enough on the house that the interest you're paying is below the appreciated amount of the house. So now you're in a positive, you're not in a negative. Like I said, does it most homeowners today are in a positive situation. And most of these homeowners they purchased during the crazy market.
Right.
So another trend that I'm looking at through some of our statistics shows that prior to November 23, we had seen 5 consecutive months of sales decrease. So there were fewer houses sold in October than there were in September, fewer houses sold in September than there were in August, and so on and so forth for 5 months. Well, November ended that. November of 23, there were more houses sold in November than there were October. And really, when that's really surprising to us realtors. Why is it surprising to us realtors?
Typically that time of year, people aren't moving. It's the holidays. They put all of that on the back burner until January, February.
That's right.
Yep.
So for November to have ended that decreased streak, it speaks volumes to me as an agent.
We actually had a good last quarter.
Right. We had a great last quarter.
Yeah.
We closed.
It's not normal in a typical market.
December was one of our highest closing months.
Yep.
And as far as activity's been, January's been a really just booming month. So
it's been a busy few weeks.
I think that moving forward, if you're looking to buy, you need to get it going.
Yep.
I think moving forward, if you're wanting to sell, it's time to put your house on the market because it's coming. I can't be I'm not a fortune teller, but I can look at trends and tell you that over the last 3 years, I could trend it all the way up and started it back down. And now I see a trend starting back up. So when I see that trend starting back up, I know that, sold it 6 months ago, you may have left a little money on the table from selling now, or selling even 2 months from now. But right now, our the market's decreased a little bit. We're still around 60, 75 days, somewhere between just below that 90-day threshold,
right.
Which anything below 120 days is still a seller's market. So we honestly, in the North Texas area, we haven't dropped went above a 90-day market, really.
No, not really.
And that being said, we haven't switched to a buyer's market yet. And I don't see it, and most economists don't see it for 24 because inventory is so low.
Right.
So what else you got to add?
I don't think I have anything. I'm just saying, the question was, should I wait? I don't think you should.
That's right. I think it's time to.
If you want to buy. If you're ready to list.
You got any tips for us today?
Not sure.
Well, so here's what I say. So if you're sitting on the fence thinking, well, I need to wait. Well, instead of buying a $300,000 house, why not buy a $275,000 house?
I see. So your price point just a little.
Yeah. So try to move to a lower price market. Maybe even instead of being 20 minutes away from work, go to 35 minutes away from work. Do something like that where the market may be a little cheaper. What else you got? What are you thinking?
Are we talking just buyers or sellers too?
Oh, we're just talking in general.
Okay, for sellers though, you could be home to sell, ready to sell sooner rather than later.
Right. So you're saying go ahead and get that paint.
I do.
Freshened up, and
I say that. Don't wait till spring. I hear that all the time. I'm just going to wait till spring. Don't do that, because then what happens is all the contractors who are a little less busy now, they get busy, and then it's hard to get the people in there. If you're going to use a third party to do your sprucing up, then you can do it now.
Right. Yeah. So some of that may be a little harder, like landscaping. You have to wait a little bit. We're still in a wet season, or cold season, you don't want to put a bunch of money into something and it freeze. But
and of course, the big thing for me is work with a real estate agent so that you can get your pricing and get ready to sell.
So that brings up a great point. So if you're not working with an agent, you're not getting ahead of the competition.
Nope.
Because as agents, we see things that are coming to market that maybe hadn't hit the market yet. And if you've called us as an agent to
List your home
or potentially buy a home, we may know something that hadn't hit the market. And if you're working with an agent and they're monitoring the market, then you can beat out the competition.
Yeah.
So you're what's the old saying about birds and worms?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Birds and worms. Oh, yeah. The early bird gets the worm.
So the early bird gets a worm. So
okay.
That being said, if you're watching the market or have somebody that's helping you watch the market, then you can be that early bird.
Yes, and get that worm.
Well, I mean, I hope you're not getting worms. But anyway,
I was expecting like bird in the hand. You always say.
Yeah, I know. One in the hand is worth, or one in the hand is worth more than two in the bush.
Yeah, something like that.
Because you probably ain't gonna catch those in the bush. So the other side of that is go ahead and at least get part of your pre-approval done,
right.
If not completely pre-approved, and find out what your payments are going to look like. I mean, if you don't know what your payments are going to look like, you don't know what you can afford.
Nope. I always tell buyers, I had one just ask me last week, where do I start? You start with a mortgage person. Let's do that first.
Right. So I'll be happy to say to show you a house or two, but prefer seeing that pre-approval first. But real estate's a relationship business, so right. We're not going to be so rigid that we won't show you a house.
No, but if I get the genuine question, what do I do first? Where do I start?
That's right.
That's where you start. You start with the mortgage. You don't know and you probably don't know what you can afford. And you can have the big picture, and the mortgage person that you partner with, they can help you figure that out.
That's
There's
right.
Good programs. And
we've got some mortgage folks. If you're wanting some numbers for mortgage people, we've got some good people we work with that communicate well and work hard to get you the best rate and get you set up for success when you're purchasing. So we can help with that. But you're right. It is always important to know what you can afford. So you were talking about sellers. So other than working with real estate agents, what do you think's in your house ready? What do you think's another tip that we can throw their way?
Well, let's see. Once you get your house ready and you the real estate agent and we've already said curb appeal, like it's gray out there right now, so you might want to wait on that. Just throw some plants in pots or something. Doors, go ahead and get your pictures done.
Yep.
Because you're past Christmas, you got that tree put away. The house is all spruced up. We always make sure it's really clean after Christmas. So just get the virtual tour, get the photographer in there, and then you're ready. Right.
So and virtual tours, that's a great point. So in today's marketplace, there's so many different cameras that facilitate 3D imaging. So it'll take a 360-degree picture, allows you to spin it around. There's so many different real estate programs. Again, that's one of those.
We actually have that available, by the way. One
of those things that if you're working with a professional that deals with luxury homes and deals with high market homes, which we do, they're going to offer you some 3D packages and some 3D virtual tour type stuff, along with interactive plans.
Yep.
Our system will take a picture of all the rooms. You go through and you take a picture of every room, and it kind of each room as it's taking the pictures, and then it stacks it in a nice little dollhouse that you can literally almost hold in your hand and move it around and touch different rooms to pop into different rooms and see what those rooms are. You get the room layout, you get the feel of the room without ever visiting the property.
It's a great tool for those out-of-town buyers. You can literally walk around the house with this 3D imaging.
Right. So get your home ready for that as well.
Right.
Not only that, jump online and find some. And if you need some, I'll get Stacey or I, and we'll direct you in the right direction to find some examples. It'll give you a good idea of what
Right.
what it's going to look like when it's done. I could look up and see the ceiling. I could look down and see the floor. I could spin it around and see all your stuff poked in the different places. At least at my house, that's the way it is. At least in my office, that's the way it is. So anyway, again, we're the Goodman team with EXP. Collectively, we've got nearly 40 years experience.
We've given you any value today, don't forget to like and subscribe our page, and come on back for some more good tips.
We generally work really well together and are complement each other very well. So Stacey's a great communicator. I might not be such a great communicator, but her help, we get most things done pretty efficiently.
We sure do.
So don't forget to reach out to us if you need for all your real estate needs.
That's right. Have a good day.
Thanks for joining us. Kevin Goodman, Stacey Goodman, eXp Realty, the Goodman team. Thanks for joining us on our channel. If anything we've said has struck a chord with you, please like and subscribe to our channel. Links are below.
Thank you.